Graham, thank you very much for joining us here. And Graham, if you could start by telling us a bit about your son, James.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. James was born a fit and well child. Up until the age of 3, hit all of his milestones. Typical boy, loved his diggers, loved motorcycles, concrete mixers, loved music, and absolutely adored by his older brothers and his family. At the age of 3, we started to notice some deterioration in his coordination, his ability to walk and climb things fell off. It was picked up by his kindy teachers, so we went to the local GP, as you do, and they couldn't really pick anything up. So one day we were urgently rushed to hospital, thinking it was something like a brain tumour, but scans revealed everything was clear. And then for the next 2 years, he seemed to baffle the medical people in New Zealand and overseas as he continued to deteriorate. And ultimately, at the age of 5.5, he passed away from what is a yet undiagnosed neuromuscular condition.
Okay.
So it all happened in a fairly short space of time.
Okay, I'm very sorry about what has happened to you and your whānau, but thank you for speaking to us again. And at that point, paediatric palliative care comes into play, doesn't it? Or in your case, it actually didn't, something that's called PPC, and what Ray Kotuku is providing to people in Wellington. And there's a lot of difficulties accessing this in New Zealand. And sadly, you were not able to access this sort of specialist care for James, were you?
No, this didn't exist at the time. And look, we've got a wonderful doctors and nurses out there that are doing the best they can with the limited resources that they have. But we were left to navigate this path largely on our own. We did reach out to hospices and to other groups, but they were unable to help us. They sort of kick in for adults. No one had the experience or the ability to help with children. So they all want to help, but they're not funded or allowed to help for whatever reason. So you're left out there trying to figure this horrible journey out by yourself.
Yeah, and I want you to be very honest here if you can, Graham, because it will help others. You know, how hard is it as a dad with a young boy like James who's terminally ill? You know, it's just beyond comprehension, to be honest. Without
what no one wants to
help.
go through.
Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult. I can remember being taken into to meeting rooms to discuss with doctors when they have to tell you that your child's entering palliative care. There is no solution. It is going to be life limiting, life ending. And then the meeting's over and you walk out. That's it. There's no one else to wrap their arms around you. You've just got to try and figure this out. So how do you then explain to James's 2 older brothers that we've got to make the most of our time with him, that their brother's not going to be around for much longer? It's all those resources. How do you keep on going? It's a tough journey. How do you keep your family units together? We're one of the lucky ones. We've managed to stay together, but for a lot of families, it rips them apart, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and how scarring was the end of James's life for you without this care?
It was very, very scarring. The last few months of his life was largely lived in hospital. His longest stay was 6 weeks. At the end, we decided that no, hospital's not the place to be. He's going to be at home. But yeah, realising what's happening, that you're his sole carer, you're his parents, and that he's literally dying in your arms. It's extremely tough. And then afterwards, who's there to help? Who's there to make sure help is wrapped around people? There's just nothing. My personal journey, I've been to see people for help. There's not a lot out there for guys. Unfortunately, we're kind of expected to suck it up and get on with life. But his brothers, they were 9 and 7 at the time. How do you explain to them it's going to have some scars on them as they grow? They're doing extremely well at the moment, but you never know what that trigger point might be. A sudden death in the family or friends or at school can be what pushes you over the edge.
Yeah, yeah, and would you wish this on? You obviously wouldn't wish this
No,
on any other family having been through it.
definitely not. No one should walk this journey alone. We've helped through our charitable trust. We've helped another few other families on this journey make memories, but there's just not a lot of information out there, not a lot of help for people.
I mean, are you frustrated and angry when you see that this is still happening to children in New Zealand today, and their families, and their communities, and their brothers, and their sisters? Does it make you
Very, very
angry?
frustrated. It shouldn't be happening this day and age. It's not a lot of money from the government. It's several $1,000,000, but it's peanuts in the large scheme of things, and it will help down the line as well. It'll help future mental health of our young people, which is so important. But yeah, no one should be doing this alone. We need
And
people out there, groups out there to help us.
yeah, specialist paediatric palliative care
Yeah.
people coming in to help families like you navigate the end. I mean, how much of a difference would it have made if that was available for your family?
Would have made a huge difference. As I said, we were very lucky. We had some great nurses and some great doctors, but having that specialist care is what is vital. And in James's situation, a lot of the nurses and doctors said this is probably a once in a career sort of thing that they'd go through. But with a pediatric palliative care team, they're experienced. They know what they're doing. They can help. And a lot of the time, it's putting you in touch with the right resources, putting you in touch with other groups out there that can help and support you as well. So it's not just the immediate family; it's the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the grandparents as well that feel it too.
And what then would be your message to the government? It's like you say, a few $1,000,000 needed to keep Reikotuku going, a few million more to provide this to every family in the situation in New Zealand. What do you say as the father of a 5.5-year-old who died without specialist paediatric palliative care? What do you say to the Minister of Health, Simeon Brown?
I'd say please listen to our story. Come and meet us. Happy to chat with them. Happy to share our experience. But there are others out there. We don't want people doing this alone. Please find some money, find some funding, and not just based out of Auckland either. We need this for the whole country.
That would be your message to the government.
It would be please find some heart and do the right thing by the youth.
Right, thank you very much, Graham, and you've been very brave doing this, and again, my condolences to you, Nicola, and your family. Thanks for fighting for other families.
Thank you, Paddy, for sharing our message and taking that to the people. We really appreciate it.
Never again, I take it, is your vibe on this, isn't it?
Yep, never. Don't want it to happen to anyone else. Wouldn't want anyone to go through it.
Good on you, Graham. Cheers, mate. You're a good Kiwi.
Thank you.